Hello again, my Yaley recorder friends. It's Mrs. Brown here with our fourth song for Recorder Karate or Recorder Wars. This is our It's Raining song for the green belt, also known as the Yoda song. Now friends, this is where it gets a little tricky. If you were memorizing before, we really can't memorize anymore because there's some tricky pattern changes in the rhythm here. So I went ahead and wrote in all my G's and A's. By now we know that A is on the second space and G is on the second line. There's no B's in this song, so you don't have to worry about any of those, but we do have a brand new note E. So first thing, let's mark it in here. Wherever we see a note on the bottom line, that's E. How can we figure that out? Every. Good boy does fine. That's the every. So I'm going to mark in my E's here every time I see a note on the bottom line. You do not have to do this. I'm just doing this in case you want to write yours in, but you certainly do not have to. What else do we have in here that's kind of tricky? We also have an E to A jump several times in this song. So let's learn how we finger E. We can practice that E to A jump. So we know that 3 to make G. This is what we know so far. We're going to add 2 more, the bunny rabbit fingers, to make our E. So here's G and here's E. So let's practice some G to E switches just like this. We're just going to lift these bunny fingers up. If yours is coming out like this, you're blowing too hard, or maybe you need to slow down your air or drop your jaw like this. You hardly need any air at all to make that beautiful E. So now we know how to go from E to G. Let's lift one more finger up to go from E to A. So you're doing a 3-finger lift. It's an exercise for your fingers. So practice that 3-finger lift. E, A, E, A, E, A, E, A, E, A, E, A, E. Let's play it. If you do it right, it should sound like Here Comes the Bride. Isn't that pretty? So now let's look at this from a rhythm standpoint. This can be a little bit tricky, but it doesn't have to be. Right here we have a pattern change in the bottom line where we have some 8th note TTs and some quarter note tas that are the same for 2 measure, but then they change here. So let's look from here to the end, and let's just clap that rhythm together, okay? All right, here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, 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 ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. That was a little tricky, wasn't it? Let's look at the beginning where we have lots of half notes. Remember, half notes get 2 beats. Let's look at that first line. 1, 2, 3. Ta, 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 ta. So now we're going to piece the whole thing together with the half notes in the first line and those tricky 8th notes in the second line. Every time I see a G, I'm using 3 fingers. Every time I see an E, I'm using G plus my 2 fingers to make E. For A, I'm lifting to make 2 to make A. All right, so here's the whole thing with fingers, blowing, and with the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Good luck, my friends. I know this one is a tricky one, but it doesn't have to be if you break it down into little bitty steps. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any help. See you soon.